What's going on, everybody? It's me. Sloppy. Man. God damn, you guys been writing all the whole time. But that's cool. Well, welcome. I see some newer faces, I guess, or I guess a couple of newer people. But what's going on? Man, I was busy yesterday, right? So I didn't really pay attention to any of the Discord and shit until this morning. Um, Leon sent me some stuff, right? I'm gonna showcase it. I'm gonna showcase it today. Kind of. How do I say it? I kind of expected it from this guy, but I didn't think it was gonna be this quick, right? What's up, Sonia? What's up, DTV? What's up, Leon? What's up, M4? Yeah. What's up? I don't know your name. I'm guessing you're the French guy. You used to have a different name, but I think because you talk about Saya, and Saya was your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or something like that. So yeah, speaking of indigenous friendly, there's nothing called that. Goddamn, yeah, that's a big word. But yeah, so man, woke up this morning. I've been partying all weekend, so so I was busy doing that. I was at a different concert again and didn't pay attention to anything. But this morning, I I saw some very crazy stuff, right? I I expected it, like I said, but I didn't think it was gonna be this quick, right? This so apparently, Mr. Kyle Johnson got arrested on the 20 24th. Let me see. Let me double check. Let me make sure. No, on April 22nd, 2026, he was arrested. Yeah, 22nd. Yeah, I was looking at the paperwork. I'm looking at it right now. At first, when Leon sent me all this, he said something about the Kyle something. I'm like, I don't really want to hear about this guy. This guy's a piece of shit, right? But then he sent me some court case paperwork, and I'm like, oh shit, what happened? Right? What happened? Right? So I started reading all the stuff, and golly, man, this guy is gonna go to jail, like for reals, for reals. He he tried to disarm a police officer. Crazy, right? Crazy. Like you would think he would have been unalived, right? Based on stories of people trying to take away, I guess, allegedly take away pistols of a police officer, right? I don't know how this guy got away with trying to do that. To me, we would have heard the Missouri news saying someone got shot trying to disarm a police officer, but maybe because he's white, I don't know. Maybe he white, so they're like, nah, we can't kill our own white people. So they arrested him. I'm guessing the girl, the ex girlfriend. What's up, Darkmet? Uh, Saya, what's up, Saya? Uh, he clearly didn't learn from Alex Preddy and Renee. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, normally, someone that tries to take away a gun from a police officer, typically, 99.9% of the time, they retaliate with a lot of lead into the body, right? But apparently, they left him. They just arrested him. To me, it's weird because we've seen many of times people get unalive if you try to do some damage to a police officer. But I'm guessing this police officer wasn't really wanting to unalive people. Yeah, apparently the county where she lives contacted whichever county he was in, and they found him a few days ago. Yeah. So that's why I always say, like for us, like when we're not the victims, right? We're not the victims when it comes to people doing some shady shit on the internet world. It's always the alleged victim has to call the police, right, and show proof. I'm pretty sure Kyle Johnson said a lot of very naughty things to this girl on text messages or stuff like that. So she saved them and she went to the police and they got a warrant for his arrest. And fortunately, he fled the state. He went back to Missouri, and that's how he was able to get. That's how they were able to get a warrant for his arrest because he fled the state, and they found him. A couple days later, and shit happened. I hope Kyle drops the soap in prison. That's why I have there's Bubba in the back of my thumbnail. Yeah, so he fled, right? He fled. I'm guessing he knew the police was gonna get him, so he ran away back home, right? Which to me, yeah, we figured that he could have been 6 feet under if it had been ice. Yeah, they're very undertrained, though, the ICE agents, a lot of them. Kyle Hawkins gonna meet that booty warrior. Yeah, yeah. If they find out why, they he's in jail, maybe. But apparently, the paperwork is going to show that he was resisting arrest and attempted disarming of peace officer. What's up, Akira Coops? I saw you added me on Discord. Uh, I was like, who the fuck's Akira Coops? but welcome, Akira. Even though that version of Bobo looks like Wes Watson. Yeah. I figured it was going to look like Wes Watson. He goes to jail. He's been in jail, and I think he's going to jail too, right? I think so. But but yeah. So I'm gonna, like I said, when Leon sent me this stuff, right? I typically don't like believing people, right? Well, not believing, but like I wanna make sure the information that is given is correct, right? Like I'm not saying he was lying about this, but because it's my credibility when it comes to these type of things, I don't want to say, oh, this happened to this guy, and then later on it was fabricated images. So I went to the website to the Missouri, the Taney County, uh, and I looked into the inmate stuff and make sure that his name was on the inmate list, and he was. So I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, this is the truth. This is so I want to read everything that the that the I guess files are that they have as of now. So let me show you the first one, right? The first one, where's it at? Okay, all right. Let me show you the first one. Warrant issued, PDF. Yep. Okay. All right. So this is the first one, right? This is the warrant, right? This is the first thing they have to get. They have to get a warrant. They have to make sure that they're going to be able to get them, all that good stuff. Everything here that I want to showcase is public information. Anybody here that's watching could go to the Taney County inmate list and they could get this information. So it's not any private information that I'm showing. What's up, Adrian? What's up, Saya? What's up, True Anonymous? What's up, Hate Them? My bad. I'm reading the chat, but I'm trying to focus on both things. So, but yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome people that that are new. Appreciate you guys coming in. Yep. And it's a very, very, very known thing that was going to happen to him, right? I've stated this many times in different streams about him that it's a matter of time that this guy's going to be in jail. And it's crazy how like a person watch looking in, right? I'm like, I don't know you guys, I don't know anything about anybody, but you kind of get to know the characters, right? The mindset of people, right? Because I'm very, what do you call it, unbiased, right? I'm very unbiased when it comes to people, right? I'll tell you if you're a piece of shit, or I'll tell you if you're not. Who got arrested? Mr. Kyle Johnson, the guy that wanted to unalive a pregnant woman, the guy that threatened to bomb or shoot up a convention center, the guy that said he was gonna send the mobsters against me and shit like that. That guy, the white tee. So man, Kyle. So he had a warrant, right? And the warrant right there's the charge is fugitive from out of state. So he ran away from, I guess, maybe a crime he committed in a different state. The woman that he was dating apparently called the police on him. Most likely showed evidence that this guy was um, threatening her life. saw that this guy was saying that he's going to do a lot of heinous things. So finally, the cops, if the victim makes a report and has evidence, they typically do this. Us, as when we try to catch preds, we always call the police, right? We always tell them that this happened, but because unfortunately we're not the victims, it's very tough. That's why we try to convince the people that are the victims to call the police and their local police departments and show evidence. But a lot of them, they don't want to do it. But yeah, saw that coming years ago when he was doing creepy vids in random bathrooms. I've never seen those. White tea. Creepy shit. Middle name, yeah, Kyle Johnson. His name is Andrew, I think. Andrew Johnson. But yeah, so he this is his. The court finds probable cause that an offense has been committed. So he committed a crime wherever, I think in Minnesota, right? The defendant and commands you to arrest the defendant and bring defendant before his court in person or by interactive video technology. Defendant is charged with fugitive from out of state, felony, unclassified, blah blah blah. Yeah. So this is the first one, right? This is the first. This is how they get them. This is how they're like, okay, he has a bench warrant. Whenever you find them, you gotta bring them in. No questions asked. No, no. Oh, you're gonna know next time you'll be no. Now you have to go. That's what it is. But yeah, so that's that's the warrant, right? That's the warrant. That's pretty crazy, right? This was what, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago. God damn. Let me see. Okay. Okay. All right. So the next one, what is it? Warrant served. Okay. So the warrant served is when they got him, right? The warrant served is when they got him. So Floppy, who went to jail? The guy you see on my thumbnail. He's a guy that wanted to unalive a pregnant woman. He wanted to murder people, and he threatened me that he was gonna unalive me too and stuff like that. But he's a piece of shit. He threatened a lot of women. That's all he does. He threatens women and threatens them because he is a psycho. And finally, one of the girls that he threatened finally went to the police, and and they got him, right. A lot of the time when we talk to victims, we try to convince them to go to the police, but unfortunately, some don't like that shit. Yeah. Sloppy mortal nemesis. I don't have no nemesis here, Zelda. Everybody loves me. Just takes time for them to enjoy my presence. So yeah, so let me move this to the side. So there's a warrant, and then the court finds probable cause that the offense has been committed by the defendant and commands you to arrest defendant and bring defendant before this court in person or via. The same thing, right? But the difference is they added more charges because when they arrested him, he resisted and he tried to take away the gun or a weapon. I don't know if it's the gun, but he tried to take away the weapon of a police officer. So the first charge is resisting interfering with the arrest for a felony, attempted disarming a peace officer or correctional officer while performing official duty. That's the main one right there. That's going to be giving him a couple years in jail for that, because if what's his name? Fuck, goddamn. If Kyle would have disarmed him, if Kyle would have disarmed the police officer would have probable cause to unalive Kyle. Or Kyle might have been deranged and used that weapon to unalive the police officer. So that charge right there is going to be very crucial, because they could make it seem like the worst shit ever, right? He could have killed me. He could have done this to me. He could have, he tried to disarm me and unalive me. I wouldn't be able to make it to my family, blah, 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 whoop-de-doo. Fortunately, the police officer was able to not get his weapon taken away. So, but weirdly enough, he was not unalived. Weird, right? I think not a lot of us. I don't want to say I would have rejoiced, because he's a piece of shit. because those type of people do not deserve to be taken care of by the court system, right? Because now the taxpayer is paying for whatever he's doing in jail. Fuck that. The police officer should have, you know, bang, 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 you know. But that's just me. So yeah, so no, there's no bond, as you can see. That means he's in jail. They can't bond him out. They can't, they can't pay any money to get him out. No bonds, no nothing. So as we speak, he's in jail. So he's not watching right now. He's not watching unless he put a phone in his butthole and he's watching in jail. But I don't think so. What's up, Chicken? He's heading to the slammer for a long time. I don't know, Adrian. I was reading up on the laws in Missouri to see how many years they will give him, and 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 from what it looks like, it's 1 year to 4 years for one count. There's two counts, so minimum 1 year to maximum 4 years for each one. So that he could get 2 years to 8 years from what the counts um, have shown. But yeah, Kyle in jail. What did he do now? Well, he tried to disarm a police officer. Remember, Chayton, when we were having a discussion with him one time, and he said that he would unalive police officers if they went to his house. Well, apparently he wasn't joking. Apparently he tried to disarm the officer and possibly unalive him, which kind of crazy. This isn't the first time he got arrested. Yeah, I know Winter King. It's a couple of times he got in a fight with his father. That's the main reason he went to go live with Leon. The father didn't want nothing to do because he was an unstable piece of shit. But yeah, I remember that very well. Yeah. So apparently he went through with this threat of if police officers try to get him, he would try to unalive them, which it's very, 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 very stupid. But knowing his mental capacity, you would think he'll do it. Holy shit! Watch the lizard trying to think. Most likely, bad guy. He's gonna be like, "Why are you guys talking about Kyle? He's a good guy. He didn't do nothing wrong. The police officers, they're working for the government, and the government wants him in jail." Yeah, fucking shit. Fuck that guy if he does. Anyways, so the warrant was served, and he got more charges due to the fact that he resisted and he tried to take away the gun and shit. In a little bit, I'm going to put the link in, and only people involved in this could come in. Anybody else, I'm not going to let you in. Only the people that were involved or gave me this information or have more to say about this, they could come in. Everybody else, unfortunately, I will not allow you today. But when another time, maybe, but not today. Today is the people that share this information or have or want to speak out about it a little bit more on their behalf because they've known them more than I have. They could come in and they could say whatever they want in a little bit. Give me like 10 more minutes and then I'll let you guys in if you want to. Yep. All right. So next one, let me see. Okay. I'll put the next one. I have to jump in. All right, for sure, Jakira. Well, whenever I finish these things, then I'll let you guys in. Yeah, I'll let you guys in. Felony complaint. Okay. All right. All right. Let me see. I can't zoom in. All right. So this is the felony complaint, right? This is the charges, right? The charges that this guy is getting and what the charges, what he can get from these charges, right? So the first one is count one. The prosecuting attorney of the county of Taney, state of Missouri, charges that the defendant, in violation of section 575.150 RSMO, committed the Class C felony of resisting an arrest punishable upon conviction under section 558.002 and 558.001, and that on or about April 22nd, 2026, in the county of Taney, state of Missouri, law enforcement officers were making an arrest of defendant for a warrant issue in a felony case. So he already had a felony wherever, I guess, wherever he was at, which his felony was, running away from the state, right? Leaving state lines or some shit like that. Which most likely he would have gotten probation, right? Or he would have gotten a slap on the wrist. But yeah, so uh, but because he did other stuff, he resisted, and the defendant knew or reasonably should have known that the officers were making an arrest, and for the purpose of preventing the officers from effecting the arrest, resisted the arrest of defendant by using or threatening the use of violence or physical force. So Kyle, I guess when they told him he was going to get arrested, he threatened to cause bodily harm. He threatened the police officers that he was going to defend himself. He threatened to do stuff to him, right? The range punishment for a Class C felony is imprisonment in the custody of the Missouri Department of Corrections for a term of years not to exceed 4, or by imprisonment for a special term not to exceed 1 year. So, like I said, unfortunately, these I don't know how, it's kind of weird, right? Like trying to disarm someone doesn't give you a lot. Well, this one's resisting, but the other one has the same amount of years, right? To me, that's kind of weird that resisting or trying to take away the gun of a police officer, they don't give you a lot, but others get unalive. And I'm sorry if I'm not reading the messages, because I'm when people come in, then I'll be able to read the messages, but I can't right now because I'm reading this shit. So, not to exceed 1 year or other authorized penal institutions, or by a fine not to exceed $10,000, or by both imprisonment and fine. So he could get fined and or for 1 to 4 years in prison, but we'll see. And then count 2, which is the prosecutor attorney of the county, blah blah blah, of attempted disarming a peace officer, punishable upon conviction, blah blah blah, and RSO, whatever. 22nd, the county of Taylor, Missouri, the defendant grabbed Corporal Johnson's firearm. So he did grab the gun. He grabbed the gun, trying to disarm him, and possibly, I can't say he did, but we're 95% sure he tried to disarm him to cause some bodily harm to the officer, which was used in the performance of his official duties, while Corporal Johnson was acting within the scope of his official duties, and such conduct was a substantial step towards the commission of the offense of disarming a peace officer, and was done for the purpose of committing such disarming a peace officer. So, motherfucker was trying to, unalive a police officer, which to me, he's a fucking moron. Well, depending on the time you're on floppy screen, when you all do it, I'll come in. Let me read some stuff, because I haven't read anybody's stuff. All right, just count. Got you, Kyle. Better hold the soap for dear life and make sure not to drop it. Shit, 10,000 has a huge fine. He doesn't have the money for that. He's fucked. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to pay it. So, yeah, Dragon's been telling me you want to fully make amends with us, ETV. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. John will join Kyle soon, hopefully. Kevin, no way he can get away. No, he's not. Adrian, this is a very bad thing he did, and hopefully they have his previous convictions on file, where he tried to threaten the convention center, when he tried to threaten women. Hopefully they have that on file and see that it's the routine for him. It's not a one and done thing. It's more than one time that he has done certain shit like this. Hopefully they have that on file that they could use to convict him even worse. But we will see in the next couple of months. At least of this worries right now. He better count that as a substitute of karma. Not a amends, just more so closure and understanding that I wanted to see, and also having spoken with Dragon a long time. So then there is that. All right. Well, depending on the time you are on Flop the Stream, when y'all do it, I'll come in to have a chat. Yeah. Gun. When an officer is the biggest mistake Kyle has pulled. If he did this, an IDF soldier, yeah, he would have been dead. The biggest mistake I have ever made in my internet ordeal was ever thinking I could be friends with Kyle Thompson. Hey, so, hey, people make mistakes sometimes. As long as you get better on it. I've had friends that later on I find out they're pieces of shit, and it's not your fault that you had trust in a certain person. It shit happens. As long as you understand that, people there's gonna be some people that you're gonna have to cut off, but yeah. Because it's going to be work at 8 a.m. So well, okay, it's going to be in the evenings or around 11 p.m. So yeah, most likely that time zone. Dude is also fucking a scammer, and he scammed me out of a lot of dough. Damn, Beagle, don't be giving people money on the internet world. That guy sounds like Arthur asking for money and shit. I've heard many people. Yeah, he tried to do a lot of stuff. I could maybe make that work. Okay, good to see your old friend, but I'm here to give my friends about this dude. They should have added evading to the charges because he's also been to NY and yeah. So I'm sure, I'm sure they're going to look into him more. This is just for this incident. All this that I'm sharing is just based on just this incident. I'm sure they're going to go into deeper previous convictions, previous um, arrests, and see if he has a continuous effort to do these type of things, right? If I was able to give information to these police officers, showing images, videos, and stuff like that I showcase here, I would. But I might have to look it up to see if there's a way to send information to them. But I'm pretty sure there isn't. Anyways, yeah. So let's God damn, this is craziness, right? All right, last one, and then I can let people in. All right. So this is the last one, and then I'll let people in. Oh, yeah. Damn. All right. Okay. So this is the police report, right? This is the police report. This is where the police officer made his notes and showcased what he saw and what happened. So the police officer goes, I had made contact with Johnson. I identified myself as law enforcement and advised them he was under arrest. So when they approached them, they already said, um, uh, Deputy Johnston or whatever, you're under arrest. And where's it at? Johnson fled on foot into the business and ignored repeated lawful commands to stop. So Kyle was like, "Fuck you guys," and he like walked away, even though he was already lawfully arrested. So that's already, you know, resisting, right? You're leaving. They already told you you're under arrest, and you walk away. That's already resisting, no matter what. I pursued Johnson and made physical contact in attempt to place him under arrest. So he grabbed him, told him, "Hey, motherfucker, get on the floor. You're under arrest." And I guess Johnson knowingly resisted a lawful arrest by pulling away, refusing commands, and physically struggling to prevent being taken into custody. So he was pulling away, pushing him, doing whatever he could so he won't get arrested. During the struggle, Johnson knowingly attempted to disarm me by grabbing my holstered firearm while I was effecting the arrest in official performance of my duties. So during the whole scuffle, Kyle tried to take away the gun. And I don't know how. I don't even know how he's still alive. To be honest, this guy maybe the police officer maybe is more trained than others, and was able to neutralize the situation. But there is a numerous amount of officers that the moment they felt a hand near the holster would have opened it and dropped some lead into the body. But maybe this officer is more experienced. But yeah, man, you did the wrong thing, officer. You should have done the opposite. Fuck that guy. Assisting officer responded, and Johnson was ultimately restrained and placed in handcuffs. I believe that the defendant poses a danger to the community or to any other person because during apprehension, Johnson attempted to disarm me of my firearm and made multiple threats to kill law enforcement and if contacted. So he threatened the police. As you can see right here, he says he attempted to disarm me of my firearm and made multiple threats to unalive law enforcement if contacted. That should be enough for them to put him in there for a long, long time. There are reasonable grounds to believe that the defendant will not appear upon a summons because defendant travels from Missouri to Minnesota as well as shows an address in Imperial, Missouri. I hereby that all facts contained in the statement are true, and I'm aware that I may be punishable by law for any false statements made. Man, I don't know how he's alive. Like I said, any other person would have been, would have been talking to Valhalla or whatever that you guys believe in. Hold on. All right. All right. So now I read all the stuff, the all the police report stuff. Right. He's in jail. He is most likely laying down with Bubba. Bubba has a new boy toy in his jail cell, and I'm very happy because for a long time, ever since I found out about him training a pregnant woman, him trying to do all these things, in my mind, I'm like, this motherfucker needs to be in jail. This guy doesn't deserve to be with the free. Footage of this. Oh yeah, Myron, that is very true. Hopefully they had a body cam. I am going most likely. I'm gonna give it like a week, and I'm gonna call the Taney County and ask for any public records when it comes to body cams. That's true, Myron. I forgot about. Hopefully they had the body cams on, but yeah, is there a mugshot of him? Not yet, Saya. I was looking for one, but I couldn't find one. So if someone finds it, you can send it to me on Discord. But I tried to look for one and I couldn't find it. So, but besides that, yeah, I could let people in. People that are involved in this or are friends of his, stuff like that. Anybody else, if you're not involved in this, then I'm not going to let you in. But yeah. I'm waiting. You're not involved in this, Chayton. You're not. It's like Myron, Leon, and them. Yeah, I can't let you in. It's mainly the people that were friends with them and the people that gave me the information. So I can't let you in today.
Yeah, so I agree with what you said about making sure everything was and so I made sure to see if it was legit or not because we're both in the same mindset when it comes to like making sure that we have our sources lined up.
Yeah, always got to make sure that everything's correct because if I showcase it here and it's not true, then I look like I don't know what I'm doing. But it caught me off guard. But I am glad that he's in jail and he's gonna be there for a good while. He has no bond, so that means that no one could bail him out.
Yeah, even if he did have bond, he wouldn't be able to because they're gonna extradite him to Minnesota in a few days anyway.
Yep.
Oh.
He got arrested on the 22nd, so about a few days ago.
Like last Wednesday.
Yeah. What's up, Beagle Boy?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I'm just doing this off of my phone, so my audio is a little bit up. But what up, Sloppy? Long time no see. It's been a while. Have you been?
Doing good, man. Just enjoying life.
Yeah, no way to go about it. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and kind of give my take on this, specifically to the fake Ozzy himself. Oh, didn't think I'd see you here, old friend. How have you been?
Just get this over with.
Okay. Put it simply, to kind of explain the one comment that I mentioned, the dough part to ZTB, dude's a fucking scam artist. Plain and simply. This dude acted like as if his life depended on me, and I was the fucking fool to fall for it.
Yeah. Okay, Fire Lord.
I would rather have Beagle Boy to continue on with his story. Then perhaps it will be my turn.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, no problem. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Beagle Boy.
All right. So to kind of trace back how this all happened, when he was seeing that Olivia chick that he was seeing for about 6 months, give or take, however long it's been, I get a random DM from in about August from Nordic Wolf or Mark, or actually no, fuck it. I'm going from Kyle here. To kind of like, I'll explain how I got back into contact with him pretty soon, but simply put, first time I encountered him, which is partly how I met both Leon and Firelord, dude was a bipolar asshole, always thought of me as a nuance from 2020 to 2022, and, you know, I met the two of them as like a triple kill situation. From what I remembered, Kyle and I would always be constantly beefing over the dumbest of shit. Firelord I was close friends with at the time. Leon I always had a mutual respect for, so it was a very interesting kind of experience. However, to kind of explain what happened, 2022 comes. How I got cut off was because I sent an encouraging message to him from the old DMG Dippin' video where he explained why he closed the channel, where I was like, oh, glad to see he's moved on to bigger and better things. Wish him the best of luck on his future endeavors. And that comment gets censored. So at first, I at first was worried like maybe Leon had a problem with me, which luckily it didn't happen. But I found out it was Kyle because I caught him talking shit behind my back on a stream, pretty much saying like, oh, Beagle Boy is like so fucking annoying, trying to get himself into other people's shit that don't belong, referring to him, which never made any fucking sense because he would always make his shit public. Like, what does he expect to do? Like, not expect anyone to respond? But anyways, I find this and I'm just like, wow, he's got all this shit to say about me, but can't be bothered to say it directly. But then I get cut off, so I was like, okay, I'm going to let him go his way, and I'm going to go my own way. Like, kind of just try to be the bigger person, take the high road. So I avoided a lot of the shit that he had from 2023 to 24, not because of negligence or being complicit, but simply just because I was on my own way. So at the time, I thought, since I wasn't affiliated with him, that it kind of flew under my radar, so I had no knowledge of it. Then we come to 2025, and a certain individual, who I'm not going to waste my time saying this name, asked if I was spying for Firelord here, and I was like, no, I don't get involved in drama like that. And so it leads to a three-way call between me, Leon, Kyle, and we all kind of like talk it out to kind of like clear the confusion and all that, like right after the Junko controversy thing happened. And I bring this DMG Dippin' video situation up to Kyle, and he kind of was like, yeah, I was a huge asshole to you. I think you're a cool dude and all. So I thought maybe he had a genuine change of heart, and I was like, oh, so I kind of bit my tongue and was like, okay, you know, I am somebody who does believe in second chances and all that, so that's what I did. And for a while, everything seemed good. Then we come to August, and he hits me up right after work, and he basically, like, right after I get off of work, and he's like, hey, I need a favor from you if you have a second to talk. And I'm like, okay. So we kind of talked. So I asked what it was about, and motherfucker literally starts asking me for money because he wants to like treat this girl to a vacation to, I forgot where it was, but at the time I kind of pressed a little bit and was like, okay, because I asked what the reason behind this was, and therefore I said, all right, you have this deadline to send it back and all that. And eventually when he did, he would later reverse it and ask for it back. And at the time he tried coming up with these excuses by basically being like, this girl is fucking the both of us over, dude, and all this other stuff. Like, I was just being way too kind. Like, my biggest mistake was that I kept pulling my punches, and this was going on from August to May, and it's like not just e-begging, but it also resulted in like spam calling me at like the most inconvenient time. Like, there would be like 18 spam calls I would get at like 4 o'clock in the morning that would be missed, or when I'm at work, or like, having a fucking life outside of the internet. Not something I'd expect him to know, but like at the most inconvenient time whenever he needed something. And he would also send like these very schizophrenic type of messages, some that kind of foreshadow this whole arrest. That he said, like, when he tried to get back with Olivia, was trying to say that, like, if ICE were to touch her, he was gonna free her and all this other dumb shit. But then Leon. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said that's funny. He's gonna protect her from ICE. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's fucking hilarious. But to put it simply, once Leon cuts him off, that we fast forward to February, he then starts expecting me to bail him out, basically trying to act like, because he ignored my advice when he was trying to pressure me to like keep this quiet, and I tried to give him a bit of advice because I thought I could genuinely like trust the dude and all that. Of course, that was a big mistake. But anywho, he basically tries to tell me. So I try to give him advice like, hey, if you want to try to get back with her, I got no judgment in that. That ain't my call. But keep this on the low, because this doesn't have to be a community event. This is between him and her. So, since he didn't want his personal shit public, I was basically saying, don't make it fucking public. What did he do? He completely ignored me, did that whole entire that whole schizo rant that got him cut off. And then he comes to me, basically trying to get me to turn on Leon and several other people, and basically try to act like as like, don't fucking say it, as if that's gonna make any fucking difference. And basically I kind of bit back by saying he pulled a Fire Lord. More on that, like, that's between him and I, but that's irrelevant. Like, nothing against you, Fire Lord. But anywho, I was basically throwing this back at him, and he seemed like fearful of me. And he tried to make all these like false promises by saying like, I'm gonna do better, this, that, and the third. Until about 24 hours later, after making these false promises, he decides to like respond to the Leon video in the comments by basically acting like, basically saying like, oh, Leon needs help, you can go fuck yourself. And I was just like, you know what? That's it. Bitch gotta go. And therefore, quietly, well, it may seem cowardly, but ironically comes full circle, I unfriended him, blocked him on Discord, basically pulling the trigger, and I have not looked back since.
No, that's good. Yeah, a lot of people. It took a while, right? Because mainly most of the stuff I talk about is outside looking in. You know, you guys were his friends. You guys kind of knew he was a little off, but because he was your friend for a long time, you kind of were a little bit biased because he was your friend and you wanted what's best for him. But unfortunately, people looking from the outside looking in, they see that he was a piece of shit. And but it takes time for people to comprehend that sometimes people are not trying to make you guys cut ties with your friends, but they're making you try to cut ties with people that will cause harm to other people. And you got, for me, my harp on most of you guys was that you guys were allowing it and trying to justify it, saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, we talked about it. It's okay. He's changed." And like I'm like, nah, he doesn't look like he has changed. But that's why my harp with a lot of you guys was because you guys were defending him, even though he was doing some heinous things and you guys kind of knew about it, but that's after the fact. But yeah, go ahead. Next, Fire Lord
So
or
yes, that's me. That's my next cue. So I think I already mentioned this previously in your stream, so I will reiterate it again because this actually does require a little bit of an explanation due to his mental health that is involved. So, but firstly, I want to go back out to in 2009. That's how I first met Kyle, all those years ago in 2009. And I think this is actually how far longer we have gone. That, in essence, really means something that would have actually meant something for it. So, because I'm tied into this, and because I'm obligated to be there due to my ties with him, I'm the only person that I had this kind of knowledge of it. So I met Kyle in 2009, as far as that is concerned, and we actually did talk through Skype for a whole lot of time, more than anything else. More than anything else. So we basically did talk about it more times. We frequently talked a lot more. So we met in 2009. That's that much is clear on Skype. Then in 2011, 2 years after we met, Kyle introduced me directly to Leon, which this is where you're coming into the picture, Leon.
Yeah.
Because he introduced me to you directly, you and I were more or close to each other, possibly close to each other between you, me, and Kyle. All those years that stretches across the entire timeline that we all know for each other, even to the point that we actually were shooting the crap and all that. Now, in 2014, this is actually where it becomes a little bit darker. But however, I wasn't aware of the fact that he was actually in a mental asylum at one point. Now, I already mentioned the name for us, so I'm going to reiterate that once again. In 2014, he was in a mental asylum. Now, many of you may not know this, and you can choose not to believe any of that after you cut me off in its entirety because of the other incident, but that's neither here nor there. Point is, Kyle was actually in a mental asylum because of one person from the state of Michigan. From the state of Michigan, and I'll even say one more time. His name was Radio Influence. He was the person who actually consistently harassed him that deteriorated his mental health, possibly through the internet, consistently, and possibly through the phone. But know this: you can take this as a conjecture, but this is something that Kyle actually told me directly. And I was the only person who held that information. Now I don't know if Kyle actually told you this directly, if it was in a mental asylum, or he never mentioned his name to you directly at all. If you had any knowledge of it,
The mental asylum part, I don't think he ever mentioned to me, but he did. But the radio influence part, I was fully aware of because they were like going back and forth at the time. That I was fully aware of, but not the whole mental asylum thing.
So you must have left that part out then.
Yeah, because back then he was like very secretive about his life, as he didn't trust specific people unless it was you or me.
It was actually me. He actually did trust me, which foolishly, that was actually his mistake. And I was the only person who actually had that information for more than a decade. That stretches across the entire timeline, as far as that you can tell. So many of you may not notice, and you, Darkless, were there at that point. Well, I was in the stream, so you already knew about that part. But the fact that he was in a mental asylum, he never once mentioned to you directly, Leon, meant that he left something out. So I was the only person who actually obtained that information, whether he actually had any knowledge of it or not, or whether I had a knowledge of it. But you got to understand,
Yeah.
part of me felt like I was responsible for his behavior that I enabled him, which I should have raised a red flag, but I couldn't, but I wasn't aware of it. But you got to remember, we were actually 18 years old at that given point in time. So we were months apart, to put it simply. And this should tell you something, that there was a warning sign that I should have raised, but I wasn't aware of it. So being that he was mentally ill, given that he had this violent tendencies and everything else among that. And even I remember at various points that he actually was trying to be Canadian for some odd reason. He actually claimed that he had a Canadian blood and he had a Canadian citizenship, whatever the case may be. However, this is all a fake. And that to me, I didn't realize that he was really either mentally ill or schizophrenic.
Which is very ironic because leading up to this whole thing, he tried to mock Australians and shit. Like that was like a whole repeat of that whole Canadian. And I'm like, where have I seen this before? Oh, wait, the Canadian stuff.
Mind you, like, so not only he tried to be like some, like he claims he's like some fake redneck, whatever. He went from a fake Canadian to a fake Nordic person, and now to some fake Aussie. Like, this dude has an identity crisis.
He certainly does. He certainly does have an identity crisis.
Don't worry, Kira, I gotcha.
He certainly does have an identity crisis, and to be fair, more than anything else that I've held on to that secret for so long, this is actually warranted, because more than a decade has passed, and this is exactly why it has become a tipping point with that he's not sufficiently mentally rehabilitated. And I honestly, the way how you want to look at this, have you felt like any of you all did not think twice that he was mentally ill at any given point, because he was being secretive? This especially has to include you, Leon.
I didn't really pick up on this until the later incidents, but it's become very apparent to pretty much my entire community that he's abandoned his mental health for quite a while, and he let it deteriorate to the point where he couldn't be helped. You can't help certain specific people if they don't want it.
That's precisely why it has become a tipping point where I do not honestly believe he should have stayed in a mental asylum for far longer than just 2 weeks, because he even admitted at one point that he was staying in a mental asylum for at least a little more than 2 weeks, which it should have meant something, but no, it wasn't. And objectively speaking, I think he could have been a lot more better to stay in a mental asylum for far longer than just 2 weeks, or even a month, or even far longer than just a month, if it has to come down to that, because he'll need to be given with a psychological treatment if he had actually be treated with that. But no matter how you want to look at it, over the course of a decade, ever since that incident that have happened with the radio influence, this did not indicate anything that he has improved since, and especially this has deteriorated over time. And to be honest, he even did certain things that he should have not have said, and even to a certain degree, he did something wrong to me. He even proclaimed in his own stream that he should have been a better friend to me when he threatened to shoot up a convention, which that was our fault for not raising a red flag. We should have raised a red flag, but we couldn't because he was too much of a loose cannon to allow us to do our job. This practically means that some of us are responsible for that, but primarily I'm partially responsible for enabling his behavior, and that to me, I'm absolutely ashamed of what I have. But even then, I feel indifferent about it, and even more information ever since this has came out for about several days now, because I was keeping a close eye on things of what has actually happened. Because let's be fair, as more information came out, I've heard that he actually treated women like an absolute piece of trash, which to me, that is a disrespect. That is a disrespect to anything. And hell, I even watched the Courtney's video that Kyle, actually disrespected Courtney's father because that to
Yeah,
me,
he really did.
okay, so that is actually more of a personal insult more than anything, and that to me is inexcusable. It's inexcusable. How can anybody like Kyle, who is our ex-friend now, really make such an offensive and hurtful remark towards somebody who actually had their father passed away? Please explain that to me.
Like the way how when Kyle messaged Courtney about like her dad passing away, whatever, she said something about like that. Kyle says like that's not an excuse to why you're not doing the lines for me and all like that. That is just like, dude, that's just gonna get your ass kicked one day. Like, that's disgusting.
It truly
Yep.
is.
Well, Akira Coops, you have to connect your mic or something. It's not letting me let you in because you're not connected with the mic or something. But go
Now-
ahead. You want?
Now, continuing on, as far as is that action concerned, the fact that his mental health deteriorated, even to the point that it is beyond health. He was beyond health, and even looking at the arrest records and his trial that he'll have to stand. Now, here's a serious question that must be imposed upon, and I don't think it's fair for me to even speak on my behalf, just because I have ties, just because I have my ties with him, me being as his ex-friend. Do you honestly think, any of you, which I do not want to I have no reason to actually protest this, but this is a suggestion given the backstory of this. I would honestly yes.
I'm just going to answer Adam's question right here. How about hell no?
Oh hell no! Whoa. But yeah, no.
So to put it simply,
Absolutely not.
I do not like to impose it as a question, but even with that kind of suggestion, that would make me look like I'm protesting this, but it's actually not. Rather, do you honestly think that he's not fit to stand trial due to his deteriorating mental health he had?
I'm going to be honest with you, Fire Lord, because I've seen this multiple times when it comes to court cases with certain people. I'm not sure how the courts did it back then, but now these days, if they don't meet certain requirements, they deem them unfit for trial for whatever reason. So I'm not sure if the same applies to Kyle or however they do it, where they're going to extradite him to.
That is much more of a possibility, because first thing what will need to be done with it is that it had to go to the source directly who actually perpetrated this entire thing that deteriorated his mental health. And that, to me, radio influence will have to be the main source of it, who perpetrated this entire thing, what he did to Kyle. But who's going to be able to contact radio influence and all of this? Nobody really knows. And even then, that's actually going to be much harder to find him than anything else. And that's next to impossible for that to be found. And frankly...
But then again, radio influence might have been partially part of his declining mental health, but most of it was stemmed from his stepfather.
So it was actually primarily stepfather, which would have to stand to reason that stepfather caused the entirety of his mental health problems, which he should also be responsible for that. But is it really any justifiable? I don't really know.
But then again, I don't know the stepfather. But then again, I don't know the stepfather well enough to make assumptions. But this is based off of what he told me.
Very well. So Myron, you want to say next before I continue on?
Yeah, my issue with the whole him not being able to speak competent to stand trial, I do think it's possible that even though he's had these issues with his stepfather and everything else, I do think there's a part of his behavior that may have been an act. So it's like the way he's been acting, the bipolar, the ADHD, the autism stuff. Yes, I do believe he has genuine problems, but I also believe it's entirely possible that some of his behavior was exaggerated to garner sympathy. And if that's the case, then I don't think he should be given the opportunity to plead for insanity, or what the case may be, because he's not stupid. He knows what he's doing for the most part. So if he were to make an actual insanity plea, he would have to prove he has no idea what's going on. And I don't believe he could pull that off. Because again, he's not stupid.
No. And even if he were to pull it out, that still will have to put him in a special cases where it may have to put it somewhere, which I'm not entirely sure. And don't take it from me, I do not know well enough how the U.S. court system works, especially with all the cases that's going on. So it has to go by case basis, as far as I can tell. So I'm not going to proclaim that I'm smarter than anyone else because I'm just not. But
like you have to really be totally out of it, like unaware of your senses, to have a chance. From what I understand, you have to like really not be aware of your senses to even like for the courts to consider you not competent to stand trial. Like he could say all this crazy stuff, but he's not genuinely crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he is. I think some of his behavior he has problems, but some of it's exaggerated to make himself look better. That's what it seems like. Like
that,
with like Davin's experience with him, for example, like the 18 calls times in a night. That was truly like, it may have been like an actual cry for help, or like it may have been the case of him actually like going back and forth with the bipolar stuff. But it could also just be him trying to get attention, right? So if he were to like go to the court and try to plead for insanity, it is possible that the court would see that he's trying to get attention or like try to get sympathy.
I would
So
love to stand in front of that
attention
court.
seeking in this behavior. That's all I'm saying. There is some attention seeking in this behavior. That I know.
Then that actually would have to stem from the fact that his behavior is actually what it would actually call this as a narcissistic personality disorder, which is actually one of the factors that has to be involved in that, which makes more sense to look at it this way. And the other one, and this is actually one other reason that I actually noticed it, is that his behavior whenever somebody tries to talk at the same time, he says, "Shut up, I'm trying to talk." His behavior that he's exhibiting resembles like mine. However,
yeah, he'll interrupt people, then get upset when he gets interrupted. That's my point with him trying to get attention.
This actually seems like he's trying to do the same thing as I do. However, I'm actually restraining myself as much as I can, because this type of behavior that he's trying to do, copying me, this just makes it even more dangerous, more than anything else. And I'm gonna have to ask this before I continue on. Do you honestly think the way how I used to act? Do you think any of you think I came across as a bit like Kyle, the way he's doing now?
This I can answer because I know I had to get on you at least a couple times with your past behavior. Despite your own issues, you were nothing of how Kyle is now. That I can say from experience.
Yeah, you did try to turn both myself and Thoughtless against Leon, but other than that, you weren't that bad.
But and then whatever you do with me after you cut me off after what have happened in 2024, that's completely irrelevant. So whatever you choose to do, so that's your own choice. I can't make it.
Fire Lord, can I tell you something for a moment? It's like, while we're at it, like, even though like I may not condone for what you told me about like what happened like back in like
2024. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, I was trying to
put that
let you
aside.
know, like, I'm not mad at you anymore and stuff. Just for now on, like, we're on mutual terms, so just so we're clear.
Yeah, I'm willing to put that behind us if you are, basically.
Right.
Put that petty things aside. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but
no, you're good.
You have to understand that some things that may not be forgiven after that, but that's not. But that's neither here nor there. But,
yeah, but like I said, I'm not going to comment any further on that because that's for the stream when me, CTV, and you have that conversation.
Yes, but continuing on, more to the point, the fact that Kyle has done so much damage and ruining friendships down to the ground, and especially everything that stretched across the entire timeline throughout the 15 years of our friendship. This meant absolutely nothing in the end, and especially with his mental health. And quite frankly, all of us that we know, especially including me, that I have ties with him directly, this means that let's just be frank here. I would actually spit on his face for actually treating women like trash, and especially what was actually going to happen to him. But I don't actually have to do that since now it's out of my hands now, since the law is going to do what they need to do for him on him. And frankly, he's not going to get a second chance. And after this entire thing, what happened, there's no there's no saving grace for him. No way.
You know what's so ironic about this whole thing, Fire Lord? I was actually working 3 jobs that day. The day he got arrested.
No way.
Yeah.
How could you actually then heard it on that same day that he got arrested.
I didn't hear about his arrest until like last night, but the day he got arrested, I was like working like 3 jobs. 2 of them were in Hazlitt, and another one was like at another township. So I was working that entire day.
I kind of expected that you would actually know about that, but given that you knew about that and you actually had the access to for his arrest warrant and everything, that actually must have known. You must have known something of what was going to happen. I'll have to give you credit for it.
I have Akira here to thank for that because he's the one that posted the link in my server.
Well, that actually, I'll actually end my part. So you go on ahead, Akira.
Thank you, and it's good to hear from you, Firelord. It has been a long time, but it's good to see that you're doing well. I literally just got home from work, so please excuse me if I sound a little bit on edge.
Different.
Yeah. So I do want to say what I usually say when it comes to shit like this. I hate fucking being right all the time, but as you guys already know, I know Leon already knows this. I know Myron, Darkless, all of them already knows. I was one of the main ones just giving Kyle advice, just trying to get through this and whatnot. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I saw a little bit of myself in Kyle and what he was doing. Like I wasn't as erratic and crazy as he was, but I did see a little bit of myself from a past relationship that I was in, and it was in my heart. It was in my heart to, try to help. And in hindsight, yes, it was. I am a bit regretful for trying to help out somebody who doesn't want to be helped. And I'll be honest and sloppy. I'm not very proud of what I've done, because you're right. I've done all I can to just help him out, and all I've been doing is just sometimes I'm guilty of enabling that behavior and whatnot. And
you and me.
I'm not proud of that, and I've learned, and I've kind of just snapped myself out of it after the whole thing with Olivia started to break off and he started crashing out. And I told him that, hey, you need to get out the internet. You need to start focusing more on yourself and everything, because you're literally starting to remind me of everything. And when he was crashing out, it started bringing back all those bad memories, because it's like, damn, that was literally me back then, but I kind of bounced back, and I was trying so hard to have him bounce back, but he wasn't getting it. He cussed out Venom, he cussed out Darkless, he cussed out damn near everybody, but he knew damn well not to cuss out me, because he knows, no offense, Leon, but if you thought you were scarier to Kyle, I think I'm a lot more terrifying. That's why he didn't get at me much.
Yeah.
So after the whole thing went down, I decided, you know what? I don't want to deal with this anymore. So I decided to go ahead and resign from Lothbrok Castle at that point, because it's like I don't want to work with them for a while. So that was the time I made that announcement on both server and Leon server that I was going to be leaving the series. After that, go ahead, Leon.
But then after Dark was sending that screenshot, and truth be told, I didn't even want to make that video that I did a while ago. I didn't even want to make the video, but it got to the point where I had no choice.
Exactly.
Like, it was really much needed, because at this point, this dude's just fucking nuts.
And then honestly, we all must universally agree to the point, even with the information that I kept on for more than a decade now regarding his mental health, this actually stems from all of that. What have happened, not just with the radio influence, but also his stepfather. But we can't make that assumption. I can't make that assumption. So be that as it may. So I do not feel anything. I feel indifferent about him, because quite frankly, he was my ex-friend. He was your ex-friend, Leon. And quite frankly, he's not going to get out of this. And all of that. And actually, I do apologize for cutting this off, Akira.
When it comes to this situation, unlike before, he's going to lose everything. His Social Security benefits being the main one.
I thought that would actually be the first. That was the first thought in my head, that I thought he may actually have some social. What was it? Social benefits? What you just said?
Social Security. He gets like $600 a month.
He shouldn't be getting.
Not no more though.
Well, even with that, even with a 600, that means absolutely nothing. And even then, he may as well lose the social security, everything else.
Yeah,
So,
because now that he's in jail, he's gonna lose that immediately, automatically.
that's an automatic loss. So
right,
continue on, Akira.
Right. So after the whole thing with Olivia, like the day they actually broke up, Kyle went on ahead and messaged me a couple things, and he was getting me to promise me, like, if something crazy were to happen to him, to let Olivia know. And he actually had the nerve to send me that girl's phone number and all that shit. I was like, I literally told him in DMs that, like, yeah, sure, whatever. But in my mind, I was like, I'm not really doing this shit because, again, that's doxing, and that's really nothing I would have done. But then it started to build up a little bit. More, and next thing you know, we're here now, and now he's crashed out of Darklist, Venom, and all that, and now he was trying to get at me after you made the whole accountability. Because, like, after I had quit Lockmar Castle, I wasn't really speaking to him anymore after that. But as soon as that happened, and after he made that accountability stream or whatever, he literally DM'd me saying, okay, I admit I was wrong. You were right the entire time, and I threw it in your face. I let her play with my head again, and it fucking cost me. I was an asshole. I admit that. The bitch played with my emotions, cost me my best friends. You, Leon, Darkness, and Villains are right about me. I have issues. I do get that, but I can't lose guys like this. I don't know what I want anymore. I'm trying to figure out shit, and one thing is always in the way. I fucked up, Akira. I understand that. You have every right to hate me for it. You advised me not to do things out of emotion, and I refuse to do so because I said it a lot. Do not make decisions. Do not make decisions while emotionally unstable. I'm mentally weak. I should have listened, and I never got the chance. I won't keep you around if you don't want to deal with me. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm probably never coming back. You guys want to deal with me anymore. You were trying to help me get on the right path, and I fucked up that trust. And this was the message. This was my final message to him, which I'm going to go ahead and say, like, I have it on screenshots if you guys want to see it, but I'll just go ahead and say it out loud. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm done. Last night was the absolute final straw, and I'm absolutely appalled and disgusted at your behavior over the past few months. I tried everything in my power to get you to listen to reason, holding on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, my words can give you guidance and help you be a better person.
Bigger boy. Bigger boy.
Yeah, you're vibrating, dude.
Yo, what's up? Yeah,
Vibrating.
shit, I'm getting a call on the other end. Hang on one moment. All right, there we go. Should be off. Sorry about that.
Continue, Akira.
Yeah. All right. I've tried everything in my power to get you to listen to reason, holding on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, my words can give you guidance and help you be a better person. I really wanted to believe that you can change, but after what happened, I honestly don't think so anymore. Ever since the events that happened 3 years ago, you've done absolutely nothing to make a change for yourself and the people around you. And even with the glimmer of hope that's shown, it immediately blows out and we're back to square one. The 2 months you've crashed out, I've been silent, reflecting on everything. I even look back on the events from back then because, yes, it is still archived. Thank you, Maddie Rose, for that. Throughout all that and looking at now, needless to say, I'm very disappointed in you. Kyle, you need help because now I can't see you the same way anymore. You have burned that bridge again with several people, and especially Leon, the one person you don't want to burn a bridge with, all over a girl who no longer wants to have anything to do with you. And when you crashed out the first time, I was absolutely filled with bad memories from my past relationship. I was reliving trauma that clock took a nail to move on from because you were acting exactly how I was back then. And as soon as that happened, I didn't want to speak to you for a long time. Now, you've made it worse. So do me a favor and delete both Akira and Akira Coops Omega's sprite sheets because now I absolutely refuse to work with you. Also, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the Shadow Realm because I'll be honest, I'm bringing in folks that honestly do not want to see you after all that went down. And for the sake of keeping the server as neutral ground, I cannot allow you to be there any longer. I'm saying this in the nicest way possible because if you thought Leon is a very angry person, I doubled that when pushed too far. and that is very hard to do so. Again, you need help. And if it means deleting your YouTube channel and getting off the internet for a long time,
which is bullshit.
I can't help you anymore, Kyle, because whenever I try now, it's reliving trauma, and that triggers me hella hard. This will probably be my last message to you for the foreseeable future. L plus D equals C. Life plus decisions equals consequences. I've always told you that, and now you're living it. Last thing I'll say is good luck, because you're definitely going to need it. You just won't have me around to guide you any longer. Farewell.
And that was exactly what you said. And frankly, the way how you said it, especially based on based on your past trauma and his experience, your experience of what you had to deal with, this actually comes across as an incredibly. Again, actually, I shouldn't be asking this, but did it not occur to you that he was mentally ill at that given point, Akira?
Oh, I already knew.
Okay, so you must have had a foresight then, so I shouldn't have to ask this. But did it not occur to you that at any given point he could explode at any given moment, which I think you already knew about that by that point. So you must know about that.
Oh, I already knew. It was not a matter of if, only when and how it was going to be triggered. But the fact of the matter is, this all started all over a woman. That's the crazy part about this whole thing. And now
a woman who by this point made it clear she wanted nothing to do with him.
Exactly. And it's very sad. It's very sad to see that it has to go. It really went this way, because the moment he started soft doxing this woman, that's when I decided, you know what, I can't keep this quiet anymore. I need to get in contact with Sloppy so he can definitely know about this, because we also need to get in contact. We need to try to find a way to get in contact with her, get in contact with every person that he came in contact with, and just spread the word out, because at this point he's pretty much borderline criminal. And it's funny saying that now, but back then he was borderline. He was borderline going towards the life of a criminal. But that was the main reason why I wanted to add you and talk to you about this, Sloppy, because like at this point, everybody needs to know this is no longer a Crow Templars thing or Nordic Wood production thing or whatever. This is no longer a small community thing. Now everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to go out there and spread the word that Kyle Johnson is literally a dangerous individual to not only women, but to the people around him.
Yes.
And if it means turning him into a locale, so fucking be it.
So be it.
Fucking be it.
And
So be it.
I was the one that gave Akira your Discord because he asked for it.
Who? No. That's not actually me. I apologize. I thought it was me, but it was somebody else. Sorry.
You're fine.
But
That was your by the way.
Okay.
But I think I'll close it out by just saying, like, I hate being right all the time. And when it comes to soft doxing Olivia, it's like I always say, never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. It was only going to be a matter of time before that shit comes back to haunt him. And the moment he did that shit again, the moment he posted her new Snapchat username, I was like, oh, it's over. It's over. It's just gotta wait. Gotta play the pace. Gotta play the waiting game, essentially. And again, it's very sad. It's very sad to see this, but honestly, there's nothing more we can do. It's in the hands of the law now. And
yes,
just goddamn.
You know what?
Go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
You know what? I'll actually add on to this, and even after you finish your part, because there's something additional part that I'm missing. But all I can say is the fact that he went down to the borderline criminal, yet he actually did this. Not just the fact that he's mentally ill, but he's a scumbag, and that he did that to somebody, which I've already knew about. That actually that you, Beagle Boy, didn't you just said right here on the string that he actually is scammed?
You really want to know the answer to that question? Because But
No.
yeah, he flat out scammed me out of 3,400.
And then he had the nerve to say she scammed him when half of that money was Beagle Boys.
Honestly,
Yeah,
yes.
it's just I don't understand that. Like, he's a hypocrite for that.
Yes.
But
But
what really gets me is like, yeah, I know Beagle Boy, you were scammed too, but what really, really pissed me off to the max is literally what he did to Venom.
that's even more disgusting.
Yeah. And keep in mind, the Venom thing he did while he was here.
What really got me was a suicide threat, and that was like 5 minutes after we cut him off. Because that suicide threat really messed up Courtney's head, and it kind of messed up my head too. Because I've dealt with people making suicide threats before, so that just had me freaking pissed, and that's why I have not left it alone since.
And it messed up with mine too, because I've actually witnessed somebody take their own life in front of me and felt powerless to do that. So for him to do that, fuck him. Straight up, fuck him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna deny he did it. When I talked to him, when he was trying to ban him from the 8A server, he straight up denied the suicide threat, saying, "I don't want to look bad," all that stuff. Bro, you already looked bad with everything else you did. So fuck you for that. That ass. No.
So you can actually finish your part, which you're actually going to have to finish what you want to close up, Kira. So the floor is yours.
The only thing I will probably have to say is the fact that the lines were there. I guess I was just too much of a helpful person to just like notice it, because like really, like I remember a few times where he actually deleted messages off of his Discord server, and Darkless can back me up. And most of the time he told me the reason was that it's because he felt like he was being attacked. I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? Again, he just a few messages, and he felt like he was being attacked because his ego felt shattered. I'm like, excuse me. So it's already obvious. Kyle has a huge ego, and I'm glad I was there to literally just challenge that shit. Because honestly, and this is no offense to anyone on this call or anybody that was listening right here, but I felt like I was the only fucking one that was literally challenging him at any time. And I know I challenge Leon every now and then, but we're still cool, and he understands where I'm coming from. It's the fact that whenever I challenge Kyle, it damn near feels like to him that I was attacking him or something like that, when I was really just being real.
You were, and I really have to. Although I don't know everything of what you do, at least I have to give you some credibility that you are trying to do the right thing, even from my ex-friend. But unfortunately, the way how he's been doing, he just comes across as he just doesn't want to listen to anything. That flat out feels like he is incredibly ignorant and quite possibly dangerously delusional, if I were to put it like that.
Oh, delusional. Let me count the ways. The fact that he literally made a separate account just to follow Dana on OnlyFans again, which was Damian Calavera. By the way, if you see a username by the name of Damian Calavera, that was his sock puppet account that he uses to bypass and ban evade on certain sites like OnlyFans and whatnot. And best believe she's gonna know about this, because I will be seeing her next month. Just FYI. But he's been ban evading. He's also, like I said, ego problems. Also, he's very racist, very, 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 very racist, to the point where he literally tried to get Venom to say the N-word, and Venom wasn't having any of that.
I've heard of that. That is so extremely stupid, and even putting that on the spot, that doesn't actually give him a pass. That doesn't really give him a pass.
You don't even have to tell her, Kira. I'll tell her myself, because I'll message her right after this.
Oh, please do. if you do that,
And
I would
that whole
mess with
community
Randy Rhoads
post where he
as well.
basically said, "I'm not racist. I have black friends." Like, what black friends? Not me. Not Dartless. Not Akira. So
I'm
what
about
black
to
friends are you
say,
talking about?
I'm about to say what, and I was gonna say like, what is an N-word pass? N-word pass doesn't freaking exist. I don't care
That's
what
the thing
anybody.
racist white men came up with, just to prove they're not racist, I guess. Saying they have black friends.
To put a in play, I have no more patience for Kyle. And even one other thing I should have brought this up. To put a in play, Kyle had a nerve to actually come back to me to add me a friend on the March 12th of this year, a month after, and I say a month after the video came out on your channel, Leon. He had a nerve to add me back as a friend, but only to be met with severe rejection that I
Yeah, he did
willing
try to do that. But I did tell him on that specific call that I was on with him that you were more than likely not going to accept it, which I knew would be the case.
This is precisely the reason why I have deliberately chosen not to give him any benefit of doubt, nor should I grant him any opportunity to say it. And I'm not even willing to look past that, because whatever the reason it may have been, I wasn't going to give him the time of day, nor should I ever give him any of that nature. Not what I choose to, but this is more of a way how he has been trying to do that to me. And quite frankly, even as an ex-friend, he should have realized that the consequences of his actions would be so damn severe. And even he actually did broken an unwritten rules many times over. And even I must have put this out there and say, whatever the unwritten rule was, I'm not actually going to say what was the unwritten rules was. You simply make it on your own interpretation and see what you can come up with. But as far as
you don't got to explain yourself in terms of the unwritten rule. If he says he broke an unwritten rule, then he broke it. Nothing I can really say. I'm not gonna dispute that.
Facts.
No, that to me, and this is precisely when I'm gonna have to say this flat out. Whatever friendship I have with him, it has all been severed. It has been severed, even though him and I were close at many, many points. But you can definitely see this. I'm indifferent about him. Our friendship has been severed, regardless of the fact that how it has been done. Yes, there may have been past that I've done, including 2024, what have happened. But once again, that's neither here nor there. But I'm going to say this flat out. Kyle has lost any ounce of respect. Any ounce of friendship that he was trying to rebuild is all but permanently gone. Now I'm actually feeling different, but that does not absolve anything what I have, and not especially what I'm partially responsible for enabling his behavior. And I'm actually guilty of it. And I take my own accountability for what have transpired. And I don't like the way to admit, and I don't like how I should admit it, but he was the only person that I had with it, and he was like a brother to me. Actually, a younger brother to me, but I don't like to admit it that. But you can understand, some part of my responsibility, I thought about it as one point, that the only course of action that I would have to do is to correct my mistakes, what I should have done by telling him, get out of this. Get out of this nonsense while you're at it.
I'm going to put it like this. You're a lot like your heart on your sleeve. And unfortunately, there are some people that don't want to take the advice, no matter how hard you try to help them. And unfortunately, we both had to both learn that the hard way.
You're going to have to repeat that one more time, because there was a bit of an echo going on someone else's end. So I think...
Oh, okay. I'll repeat that again. I'm just going to say it like this. You're a lot like me. We both wear our hearts on our sleeves. Unfortunately, there are some people in this life that don't want to be helped. No matter how hard we try, some people just don't want the help. And unfortunately, we both had to learn that the hard way.
Unfortunately, yes, you would be correct about that. And I honestly don't think it in any good way, putting it like this, and even going as far as that he's being a creepo and all, in instances, even after the information that came out, unfortunately, that just comes across us that he's a fucking creepo, especially that he likes the underage stuff, which that to me comes across as highly degenerative stuff, highly degenerative, and I do not want to have anything to do with that. And quite frankly, if this is the way how he is going to act like, there's no way we're gonna get any more benefit of that. I'm just sorry, but no.
Yeah, like I was just telling Z to be in the DMs before I hopped on here. Despite all the shit that I done, at least I didn't do what Cal did just recently, a few days ago.
It's even more fucked up. Perhaps either of us were in the wrong. Perhaps either of us were in the wrong, especially when we're falling out. Maybe it's not relevant to that, but you kind of get the picture of it. My point being, I have no remorse in saying this, and I would even go as far as to say that I would spit on his face for disrespecting everyone, and I would actually give him a silent treatment. So silent treatment was the only way that I would grant him that, and I wasn't going to give him that. So that, to me, this is just what I'm going to have to put this out there. And if it means that having to tarnish a friendship, pushing people away that we're trying to help him, so be it. He's just gonna have to run in prison for as far as I can tell. And I have nothing else for me to add on to that. Just as far as I'm concerned, as far as you're concerned, Leon, as far as he is concerned, he's absolutely done. And I have no remorse in speaking ill of him, no matter how we look at him, especially with how his mental health has deteriorated. Frankly, he's done for.
Yeah, and I even said this after the last stream, and Akira Darkless and even Big Boy can vouch for me because I literally said this. From this point on, I didn't care what happened to him, and like a week or so later, month later, here we are.
Yep.
As I expected, and I had no qualms on actually saying to him, even if there wasn't any prison visits at any given point, I doubt he would have any. I really doubt, because of that, it's just next to impossible for that. And I would even say this, and just to finalize this before I have to get it off. No amount of, and this is actually what I even had to learn this. My trust is not so easily gained after what had transpired. No matter how you want to look at it, my trust is not so easily earned. Trust is earned, not given. And trust is earned, not given, yes. And this is the part that Kyle failed to understand. He failed to understand that. That, to me, I should never, under any given point, be willing to give him such foolish stuff that he was trying to fuck around with. Never again will we give him any second chance. Therefore, I must give you all that I have no more words to say other than the fact that he will be given a spit on his face, and he will be treated like an absolute trash in the prison once it has his trial started, because he's already in the prison.
Yeah, but he's gonna be extradited by U.S. Marshals to Minnesota in a few days, so he's not gonna stay where he's at now for long.
As expected. I have no more remorse in saying this, and so Kyle is out of our lives permanently.
Yep, he's done.
There's nothing else for me to say, Dad. Kyle, I doubt you will see this even after you get out of prison. This is my message to you. You should have understood that mental health is so severe that you should have learned it from your own mistakes, and you should have been treated properly, not out of the mental asylum that you told me decades ago. And this time, you're going to have to be treated severely. I have no remorse in speaking ill of you unless you change. So goodbye, Kyle Johnson. You have lost your friend who thought of you as a brother. Now you have ruined it. And I'm going to look at you very cold-heartedly. This is all I'm going to have to say. This is it. I will take off. I will take my leave. There's nothing else for me to say. So all of you folks, if you wish to stay here, wherever it may be, it's your choice. I have my own things to take care of. There's nothing for me to speak.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Wish nothing but the best for you, bruv.
However, understand that sometimes nothing good is going to come out of this for him. As for me, I'm just going to stay silent, whatever it may be. And I don't know if we'll be able to see each other again.
Well, even if we don't, I still wish you the best of luck in whatever you do, man.
I would understand it if you wish to see. I would understand if you actually wish to apologize to me for the thing that I've done in the past. Even if I would accept your apology. I don't know, but we'll have to leave it at that. We'll need to leave it at that.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm going to get off. I'll see you all in the future. So with that said, I'll see you all whenever that may be. Goodbye.
Adieu.
Yeah, you have a good one, Fire Lord.
Farewell, old friend.
Welcome back, Slappy.
Yeah, I'm just letting you guys talk a little bit. I already said what I had to say. I know you guys have issues, situations with them. $3,400. That's how much he took away from you.
It was kind of a gradual build. Well, it was kind of a gradual build-up. It wasn't like a all-in-one type of thing, because he would obviously try to make because during that whole Venom thing, I kind of overlapped in that because he kind of had me kind of speak as the middleman when the whole Venom situation kind of went about. However, when that whole thing started, he would specifically try to hold over my head. Do not tell Leon about this. He will get on my ass about it, which always felt strange because I knew that's what he gave Firelord crap for.
Yeah.
Anywho, so
Sorry about that. I live by a county road, so you'll have to forgive me for that.
no worries, all good. But yeah, that amount was just the total amount, because I saw you and ZTB kind of all freaking out about it, be like, what? So yeah, that was a build up amount. Ultimately, I caved into a lot of it because of what Leon said, that in a lot of ways I put my heart on my sleeve. I thought I could trust him, only to realize when it was too late that I made a very big mistake.
Yeah, man, but yeah, $3,400 to someone on the internet, to me, it's a lot. I don't give, I donate money when it comes to the streaming people, but to give $3,400 accumulated, right? It was in a span of what, a year, or how long of a span was it?
6 months, from about August 25th, August 25 to February of 26.
Damn, yeah, that's a lot of money for a small, short period of time. That is crazy. I wouldn't. I don't know. Like I said, I'll donate here and there and different streamers, but not $3,400 worth of donations. What did you use the money for, Peter Boy, if I may ask?
Drugs, food, traveling a bunch of random places, just all that dumb shit.
Specific.
Nude pics of Olivia.
Sorry, to answer your question, Sloppy, basically, sometimes he would, since this was through Cash App, he would give these, descriptions to what these were supposedly being for. Some of them, he would just, leave a little bit of a period. So it's half of the time before I would even accept the request, I would have to look on Discord to kind of figure out, if there's a message that kind of, matches up, because I was trying to be, accountant or auditor or whatever that is, trying to match the things up. However, a lot of it was the first 3 times that he would go back on his word saying, I'm not going to ask you for any more, it did involve Olivia, but the rest of it kind of also involved like traveling to like different sorts of places. Sometimes it was like for food, sometimes it was like for basically like necessity like shit. And sometimes I would have to like get on to him and kind of bluff about it a bit, where I'm like, it's not even about the money anymore, it's the repetition I'm starting to have a problem with. Which, yeah, I bluffed about it because it was like, yeah, it was always about the fucking money. But of course I knew, like ZTB was saying, like, he's a fucking psychopath. Like, okay, if he ever does say anything about it, that if I said anything about money, then it's like, it's obviously going to go fucking nowhere. He ain't going to fucking, respond back. So I had to kind of manipulate some of the words to try to get around it. Ultimately, that seemed to just enable the behavior.
So like right here, he's saying that that girl owes him $2,400. Do you think those $2,400 is money that you let him borrow, that he let her borrow, or what do you think?
Actually, it was about the same amount that he took from Biddable. It was like $3,500 if I remember correctly, because he did tell me that in the DM a while ago.
Man, yeah.
Who, Kyle did?
Yeah.
I want to see how that conversation went about.
So, but the only thing, Olivia only gave him like about $120 back as a severance package.
Greedy bitch.
Yeah, so this is a conversation. I guess he kind of, tried to expose her or something like that, right?
This is actually a Facebook status.
Yeah. And he was trying to dox her, saying, that her Snapchat, and saying that she used him, and that. But then she said that she didn't want to be with him anymore, and he still was adamant that he wanted to still be with her, or something like that, right?
Yeah, which pretty much was the catalyst of pretty much all of us cutting him off after he made that one Discord post that I shared in the last stream.
Yeah, he uses his autism, I guess. He used a guy with autism that was struggling to find work in the East Coast just so you could use his disability check to spoil yourself. Like $600, like you say, you get $600 a month. $600 nowadays is not a lot. I don't know why. He's making it seem like he spent a lot of money on her, but he did other people's money, but not his own money, unfortunately.
Because he a broke boy.
Oh, hell fucking no.
Thanks for coming, Brandon Reaper. Yeah, well, that's
yeah.
This is the one. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, I was just reading one of the private chats, like what Myron had to say. That's where I'm saying oh, hell fucking no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was one screenshot where basically you felt that money went towards news or something like that.
Asking your homies to literally fund your goonin is next level degeneracy.
Yeah. 3,500.
I mean, he did the same thing with Jaja, remember? So I'm not too surprised.
So he was asking all you guys for money?
Not me, luckily.
Man.
He knows if he asked me for
I would have
money,
blocked him right then and there. I wouldn't have given a fuck.
He never asked me, because he knows if he asked me, I would have go fuck himself.
He would have gotten a verbal lashing from me if he asked me.
I'll say this though, like when we called him out for like spending his money, taking people's money, spending on like food, porn, and traveling a bunch of places, he'll probably, if he comes to me, be like, "Oh, Darkless, what do you like to blow your money on?" Oh, all right, I'll answer that question gladly. Merchandise, Halloween decorations, physical media, art supplies, all that good stuff. And what does he blow it on? Dumb shit.
Okay, now this screenshot here, this is from his actual biological father, not the stepdad that he's flashing the arm when he left to see me the first time.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kyle wanted to reach out and let you know that he is in Taney County jail because of that Olivia chick he was dating and is getting him into a lot of trouble. He is being transferred by the U.S. Marshals in a couple of days to Minnesota. I will try to keep you updated. This is Calvin. So yeah, so he did something in Minnesota, and they're bringing him back over there. I'm guessing he threatened the girl with physical violence, and they finally did something about it. But yeah,
Like, like I was telling Myron and a couple of people on my server, I'm assuming that status that you were just sharing a second ago has something to do with it. I'm not entirely sure, but we're guessing that status has something to do with it.
yeah. So
The charge in Minnesota was at the threat, so he had to threaten somebody with physical violence.
Yeah. So when he gets booked over there, we'll be able to see his Minnesota charges whenever he gets charged over there in Minnesota, and I'll be keeping an eye out to see if in the next couple weeks that they put the charges of what he did in Minnesota that got him extradited over there.
Yeah, right now all we know is that he's not getting out of custody anytime soon, whether it's to be Tennis County or Minnesota. He's staying there for until the judge is ready to hear him.
Yeah, all we know charge-wise is what was stated on the sheriff deputy's report when they arrested him.
Now we talked about his gooning before. Did anybody mention to Sloppy what Kyle did to Lady M?
No, I don't remember what no.
Remember the short amount of time Lady M and Kyle were quote unquote dating?
Yeah. Then all of a sudden she supposedly laughed out at him, then he banned her from the server.
Yeah. Well, this is what she told me. When he and Lady M were dating, apparently they were on call one time, and he asked her if he wanted to see his OnlyFans and his man meat, and she said no, but he still showed it anyway. Along with that, he tried to get her to go to a convention dressing as a character he liked with him, and stayed at a hotel and tried to have sex with Lady M. And she still said no, that he barely even knew her.
What the hell? And he had the audacity to paint her as the bad guy. Oh my.
And of course, like you just mentioned, Myron, he also lied about why she was kicked out from the server the first time.
That's what it seems like. God damn, this dude is degenerate. Like, every time we talk about this dude, he just becomes a worse and worse person. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I remember, shortly after that, she DM'd me, hey, Mike, getting kicked out of my server. And I'm like, getting kicked out of my server? What are you talking about?
Because she was in my server at the time. So when Kyle joined in, I had to tell them not to talk to each other. And then he basically said, oh, she makes me uncomfortable, I don't want to talk about it. And I told him, that's not my problem. And he was like, whatever, I don't even get on your server anyway. Like, dude, straight up, fuck you for that. Like, you are disgusting for that.
Yeah. Well, I try to let you guys know a long time ago, but, like I said, it takes time for people that are friends with a certain individual to kind of understand that people are not saying these things because they just want to. All the things I normally would say was things that he did incorrectly, and I felt that he would do it all the time, and maybe sometimes behind you guys' back, and sometimes out of threat of him threatening you guys. If you guys say something, he's gonna send the Irish mob on you guys or some shit like that. So I'm guessing he'd use threats to keep you guys quiet as well. But from what I hear.
Yeah,
I didn't do him as well as these guys did, so I didn't get no threats from him or nothing like that. Like, he barely talked to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do want to say that, I remember, we had our issues, back then, from 2 years ago, but then, at the same time, it's come to realization that he's only using us to, go against you guys, but, Sloppy, you were trying to help us and stuff, and honest with that, I appreciate that, man, because it's come to realization that, Kyle is the problem because all the shit that he's been exposed for, he's done so much irreparable damage to damn near everyone to the point where enough is enough. So, yeah.
Yeah, it happens. We deal with it a lot. Different people, when we call out people that are bad in different communities, in the beginning, they're always like, "Nah, he's just trying to talk shit about my friend," blah blah blah, and it happens quite often. That's why we don't really get like too upset, or
Yeah.
we just want to showcase what we see and what we could expose, and
Yeah.
the people.
And honestly, Sloppy, I appreciate you doing the right thing. It's just, again, you probably heard me said it already, but again, I'm not proud. I'm not proud for having to deal with this for so long, because again, this was coming from someone that was literally trying to see the best out of him. Though, let's be honest, it kind of blew up in my face. But again, just to let you know, I'm not very proud of what I pretty much enabled and whatnot.
It's all good, man. It happens. Like I said, I don't hate the people that defend them. I just try to showcase the stuff that he has done. Not just in your guys' case, but in other groups and other communities. We showcase what these people have been doing and try to show them that the people that are his friends shouldn't be friends, but we can't force people to do what we want them to do. They have to see it themselves, because then that's more genuine. If we're forcing you to not be friends with them, then that's not as genuine as you realizing yourself that the person is a bad person.
Right.
Yeah, but any last words? Because I gotta end it in 5 minutes.
I will say, like I always say, L plus D equals C. Life plus the decisions you make in your life will always have a positive or negative consequence towards it. And unfortunately for Kyle, this was in the big ass negatives. And honestly, there's no going back from this. You made your bed, now lie in it. And unfortunately, it will not be in any girl's bed from this point on.
Yeah,
But we'll probably be in guys' bed in that jail cell.
Yeah, and as far as me, I said this months ago, and I'm going to say it again. You, at the beginning, you're on your own, and now you're definitely on your own. And regardless of what happens, you're definitely going to have your Social Security taken away, because you're technically a felon now. So you have no one to blame for your fucking self. I wish you the best luck. No, scratch that. I wish every bad thing to happen to you, and I don't care what happens to you from this point on. And I have this in my server, and I'm going to say it to you, and that's simply this: goodbye and fuck you.
And I'll say my final piece to this. I hope you spend a life sentence in jail and someday burn in hell. Das Vidanya, bitch.
And I'll say my piece as well. Kyle, you better hope the judge is in a good mood on the day of your trial, because if not, you are going to be spending the rest of your life in and out of jail. And I do not have any sort of remorse for you. I will feel no shame. I will lose no sleep over what happens to you from this point forward.
Yep. Eagle Boy.
All right. To give my final take, specifically to Kyle Johnson, I would fucking love to see what your Irish mob buddies try to do to get you out of this. I would really like to see how far that goes, because it'll be fucking hilarious one way or another. Like, I'd say fucking put them on put you on trial, see what happens. That'll be good fucking entertainment, because then that'll be vengeful for everything you fucking did to me for the last 6 goddamn years. So all I could say to you is adios, you bipolar identity crisis having motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Really
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. With that, I'm gonna put you guys backstage, or if you guys want to leave, you can leave.
Yeah, I'm going to take off in a second, so take it easy.
Yeah, it's getting late. I gotta get out.
Yeah, I gotta go to work tomorrow, so I'm out.
All right, peace.
All right,
peace.
you have a good one, Sloppy.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing up here. So
Yeah, no worries. All right, guys.
Yeah, have a good one. It was good hearing from you, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, always welcome to come and chat. Yeah, right? Craziness, right? I will be most likely kind of not checking it daily because checking it daily, there's not gonna be many updates until they show when the court case is gonna be. So as of now, we just gotta wait to see exactly what happens. But we know for a fact that he is in jail with no bond, meaning that he cannot leave the jail. No one could pay to him leave the jail, so he's there. He's gonna be there for a while, hopefully. Um, Most likely in a week, I'm gonna check again his court case and see if there's a court date. And if there's a court date, then I'm gonna make sure to post it on my community tab. I'm gonna keep tabs on this one because this one's pretty heinous. Thanks, hope you have a great night. And yeah, for you too, Obi. I see you guys in Steve's server all the time, talking that shit to Dee Dee. I hope that guy goes to jail too. All these motherfuckers need to go to jail. It takes, I guess some time sometimes, man. But hey, one at a time, They gotta go to jail. F these guys. What's up, Pete? What are you doing up so early? It's like 4 o'clock for you right now, almost. Go to sleep, Pete. Go to get some cake and coffee. But yeah, no, man. Like, I do appreciate the people that chatted in the chat and the people on the clouds. I'm always grateful because you're watching. How do I know? Because I know where you live, Fee. I know exactly where you live. I'm looking inside your window right now. Can you see me? I'm going to knock on your window right now. Look at. Did you hear that knock? That's me. I'm just kidding. But yeah, this guy finally, I saw this coming a long time ago. Unfortunately, it took a while for him to do something heinous. Forget coffee. I'm going back to sleep. Yeah, go sleep. What are you doing at 4 a.m, Fee? Go to sleep. As soon as we left the stream, one of the warrants was served. Oh, really? I'm going to look it up or send it to Leon or someone, and they can send it to me. I want to see exactly what they're getting. Did he cried about his website today? I'm going to watch it when I get home. I'll be on the archive later. Hell yeah. It's good. Make Dee Dee's life miserable. Fuck that guy. Sloppy, stop knocking my front door. Oh, my bad. Exilenium. I didn't mean to knock that loud. I'm going to knock lightly next time. But yeah, Kyle Johnson in jail. Glad, happy. All the girls that he threatened would be happier now that that I might message one of the girls that he was harassing. I forgot her name. I have her on Instagram. I'll message her and let her know that Kyle Johnson is in jail. Make sure that that shit is good. Make her happy and stuff. Christmas came early this year. Hell yeah, the Christmas came early. I'm just glad that this piece of shit is in jail. He can't harm nobody. And that whole trying to steal the weapon from the police officer is gonna get him in some serious shit. Hopefully, like I said, the justice system sometimes are very lenient with special needs people because he's gonna use his autism as a reasoning of why he did what he did. We know that his lawyer, whoever his lawyer is, the public defender, whoever the person that's going to be defending him, is going to use his mental illness as a way to get less time in jail because that's what that's what you have to do if you're a defense attorney. You have to get whatever you can to get your client not to get that much jail time. But yeah, hopefully he does. Like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on it. And I'm sure other people are going to keep an eye on it. And if they find it before I do, then hopefully they send it to me because, yeah, this shit is some fucked up shit, right? That's still, taking $3,400 from someone in a span of 6 months. That is wild. Unfortunately, he's not gonna get his money back, and that shit sucks because $3,400 is no joke, right? Like even $10 for me, I'm like, hell no, when are you gonna pay me back my $10? You know, like what the fuck, 3,400? I'm like, what's going on? Well, why? You know? But yeah, it's crazy. There's no excuse for the crime people do when they commit it. Yeah, well, unfortunately, the law is kind of lenient with people with special needs. Unfortunately, that's gonna be their main thing. In China, there's no such thing as a disability card. If he does that in jail in China or Japan, that'll go straight to jail. No, so yeah. Well, yeah, China is a little bit different. They're a little more communist, so yeah, they do stuff differently over there. But here in America, you have your due process. There's laws that protect you, and then there's lawyers that is gonna try to get a plea deal or something. Unfortunately, and that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna plead not guilty. He's gonna have a court case. He's gonna have a plea deal. You know, the lawyer is gonna be like, "Oh, well, we're gonna try to knock it down to a misdemeanor instead of a felony." And sometimes they do get it, but I'm hoping not. But we will see in the next couple months what happens. Yeah, hopefully he stays in years and years and years, because he doesn't deserve to be with the free. He's a danger to society. As you can see, he will do what he says when it comes to unaliving police officers. They put resisting arrest charge. Yeah. So his two charges right now is resisting arrest and trying to disarm a police officer. That's his two charges as of now. And we'll see. We'll see if they stick. Hopefully they do. I'm gonna keep calling. Maybe I gotta find out if I could call, if I'm able to. And then yes, if there's a body cam footage, I'm gonna try to see if we could get that. I saw a very old video by Charles Manson, and he was right about the system. Until this day, the justice system is just as bad as right now. Yeah. Well, the justice system is it's I don't know. It's tough. Some people get more than others depending on what color you are. You know, there's two different colors could have the same crime, and one of them gets probation and the other one gets 20 years. You know. But yeah, man, this was news to me and news to a lot of people, and hopefully the shit gets resolved and he's in jail for numerous of years, and Bubba has them for numerous of years. You know, it's crazy shit. But anyways, I gotta go. I appreciate the people that came in. Appreciate the people in the chat. I'm just gonna keep, seeing what I can find. But besides that, yeah, I'll talk to you guys. I don't know, another time. You guys can message me on Discord. I'll try to respond there. If you go to Taney Connor's department website and find his name, one of Kyle's warrants has a link from there. You can track this case to stay updated. Oh hell yeah! Who gave him 3,400? Some guy named on here that's named Beagle Boy. He was friends with them, and Kyle coerced them, I guess you could say, to convince them to give him money periodically, and it added up to 3,400 YT, which I think that's a lot to give. Not even Arthur asked for that much money. Arthur only asked for $200. But yeah, no. If I keep talking and responding, I'm gonna stay here another hour or something. I gotta end it already. I gotta do some shit. But yeah, you guys can hit me up on Discord. That's the only way you guys can communicate with me. I don't give out my other socials. But yeah, I'm out before I start talking more. Peace.